because he's so nice. And then at some point, I'll get up off the cot and it will be the John Anderson 7.5 Homer Hour with Homer. Take it away, Professor.
Well, as you know, I serve at the pleasure of Jason Wilde on this program, and you.
We all do.
So when you guys are available, that's where I'm ready to go. First off, Jason, do the girls, do they do any Taylor Swift downloading?
I'm sure they did. Quick question before we start. John Anderson is a proud alumnus of which Green Bay high school?
I know it. Homer, do you know that?
I do now.
Green Bay Southwest. Go Trojans. I can sing in a fight song.
I mean, when you're done 7.2.5, I don't even care if you didn't graduate from high school.
Okay, well, I'm standing in the parking lot of Green Bay Southwest High School looking for the John Anderson statue. I do not see it. Am I on the wrong side of the building? The Ashwaubenon Jaguars taking on the Fighting Trojans today, so I'm walking into the high school when I'm done with you guys. But I was also here for football practice a couple weeks ago when Jordan Love donated cleats for every single player in the program as part of his charity work, and it was such a cool thing. In fact, I was going to send this to you because you obviously are a brilliant former TV guy, and I did like a video story, which I edited together and everything all by myself. And This kid named Marcos Martinez, who's a junior linebacker, Love was doing just kind of putzing around, throwing balls, running a little 7-on-7, and Marcos intercepted him, and it was flipping awesome. It was such a cool moment, and so it's really cool to see the kind of impact that Jordan, who I don't think people realize can be pretty charismatic when he wants to be, had on these guys. So this is it's neat to be at Southwest High School, which obviously has some prominent alumni and now some good memories as well.
That pickoff, by the way, that interception probably goes as number 4 now on Homer's list of bad throws that are unforgivable by Jordan Love. It's probably number 4 as he puts together a top 5.
No, the most unforgivable thing is the situations, not the pass. Nearly letting the game end before throwing the pass against the Cowboys is arguably the worst. He just got incredibly lucky that the clock manager wasn't mean.
So, well,
I tell you that there's a lot of people that are taking some measure of delight whenever Jordan Love does something good to say, but you can't trust him because of Homer's comments. And I still think that while I wouldn't go as far as Homer did, which I've said many times about a lot of topics, Jordan Love's having a great season. Statistically, he's been phenomenal, but he's had 2 late game situations where he deserves criticism. I had somebody come after me yesterday on Twitter because of the Pat Mahomes interception late, and if I was going to nail him to the cross like I've nailed Jordan Love to the cross, which I thought was a little extreme, frankly.
Yeah.
But no, welcome to quarterbacking. Like, that's what you get paid $55 million a year because you have to take the criticism when you make those mistakes in crunch time. You're the one who's judged. They're not going to judge the right tackle. They're not going to. I mean, they're going to look at the film and football people talk about it, but the public at large is going to criticize the quarterback. And Jordan Love deserved criticism for throwing the interception. I don't care if you think Matt LaFleur should have run it into the line and punted. He still has got to be better than that, and he's got to do a better job of getting guys to the line of scrimmage in those final 30 seconds of overtime. And that doesn't mean he sucks. It doesn't mean that the Packers should start Malik Willis. It just means that he's got to be better in those moments. And my frustration is that the person who would agree with me on that is Jordan Love.
Well, it shouldn't bother you. We're good with that. By the way, as you walk in to the gym there at the Southwest High School, as you go in on the right, there's where all the music rooms are. And my chorus teacher there was actually John Anderson, which is always kind of funny. so that whenever I had a hall pass and just signed his name to it, it didn't look like I was loitering out there. And then if you go look at the track, records, I'm no longer there, but you'll see the last time I was there, about a year ago, there's a gal named Amy Anderson who was a classmate of mine. We were not related, but she has like the shot put and the discus record and a couple of records. And in Little League, she struck me out twice, and the third time up, she broke the wooden bat I was using. So that's just, a little insight as you go in there.
Interesting.
Last
They
time
didn't
we
use
talked
the
about
broken
bye week.
bat in the bobblehead.
Yeah. No, you just sawed it off, and that was too bad. I like the bat too. Last time we had a bye week, I think you told me that they kind of stayed home or whatever, and LaFleur gave them homework. How did they handle the bye week this week? Was there homework involved?
There was definitely not. I saw Micah Parsons. Every time I opened social media, Micah Parsons was doing something fun. One day he was at Edgerrin Cooper's horse farm in Texas, riding horses. The next time I saw him, he was at the Texas State Fair in the Midway area playing Pop-A-Shot. And I asked him, because he is very proud of his basketball acumen. So when I saw him yesterday, one of my philosophies of covering the team is small talk actually does matter, and saying hello actually does matter. And so I didn't want to interview him. I know his day is Thursdays, but I said, hey, I gotta know, how many of those shots did you make at the state fair? He's like 3, but you know that they cheat, right? The hoop is smaller than it's supposed to be, and the ball's bigger than it's supposed to be. So you have to shoot a perfect shot. So I don't know if he didn't win the Cupid doll or what, but he was fairly iritated by the.
I think that is true, isn't
rules.
it? Though
it is true.
Rims.
He's 100% right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They unlike Tom Brady, they overinflate the balls so they're bouncier when they hit the rims. They do that.
When you did 7.2.5, it was a legitimate tape measure.
Full on.
Yeah.
Legitimate. They got to measure those things. So, by the way, it's funny you should mention Cupid dolls. Do you know the only high school in America whose nickname is the Cupies? The Cupid dolls?
I do not know that. No.
That's right here in Columbia, Missouri. Columbia Hickman, where Russ Ball went to school. Russ Ball is a Hickman Cupid.
Well, I can't wait to drop that piece of knowledge the next time I see him.
Yep, file
Do you think
that
he'll be
one
offended
away.
if I say, "Hey, Cupid, how you doing?"
He might. He'll wear the purple and gold of the Hickman Cupies, and he played on a team, by the way, that was unbelievable. They had pros on there. Leo Lewis, who played for a long time. The great Packer Gary Anderson was his teammate, or Gary Ellis. Remember Gary Ellis?
Good running.
I do very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
31.
He and Russ were teammates here at Hickman Cupies. So what are we working on this week? What do we have other than being healthy, which I think is actually an important thing, but I don't know if you can
Flacco's
actually
going to
work
start
on
every game against the Packers the rest of the season.
Yeah,
What's
except
that?
for the Steelers game. Yeah. So I saw that today. I already wrote about it for Channel 3000, but I have not seen anyone. This feels like one of the things that we need, like ESPN Research, formerly known as ESPN Stats and Information, or Elias Sports Bureau or someone, because there can't be many instances in NFL history where a quarterback has faced the same team twice in the same season, but while playing for different teams. That cannot have happened very often. I'm sure it's happened in the 100 years of the NFL, 105 years or whatever. I'm sure it's happened a couple times, and I'd be curious to know, like, if he somehow, because he does have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at his disposal. If he were to come in here and beat the Packers on Sunday, like, how many quarterbacks in NFL history have beaten the same team in the same season while playing for two different teams? Like, I would love to get that information. I have not seen it out there yet, and I certainly don't have the wherewithal or the institute that Homer usually has at his disposal.
It looks like 2. I just looked it up right now. Chris Chandler in 91 played with the Buccaneers and then the Phoenix Cardinals against the Saints. And then Jack Kemp in 1962 with the San Diego Chargers and Buffalo Bills.
And that's
against
AFL.
the New York Titans. Now the Jets.
That doesn't really count. That's AFL.
And so does Occidental College doesn't count either.
It's true. It's correct. It does not.
So what are they working on? I don't know that we got to that. We got the thing.
Well, yeah.
What is there a point of emphasis this week from the coaching staff?
Yes, there is an undeniable one, and that is the force more turnovers.
The ball king.
I'm trying to. Yeah, well, the ball king has no close at this point, or at least he has no takeaways. They have 2 interceptions through 4 games, and it was great because sometimes what I like to do is ask multiple players the exact same question with the exact same wording. And I did that with Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, and Rashawn Gary yesterday. And I said to each of them, you guys, I've always been taught in all the time I've been covering the NFL, you get what you emphasize. And nobody emphasizes takeaways more than you guys. There's probably teams that emphasize it as much, but like you guys, you installed a siren in the defensive meeting room. You're counting how many swings you take in trying to punch the ball out. You guys are emphasizing it as much as anybody does. And you got 2 takeaways, 2 interceptions. That's all you have. Why? And none of the 3 had a good answer. And I'm going to use it in my story of them hemming and hawing. And good question. I don't know, because they're completely perplexed by it, because it really does. And you know this because it's true. It's a cliche for a reason. NFL teams, if you emphasize something, you usually get it. The problem is you don't have the bandwidth to emphasize 50 different things so you can be good at all of them. So you have to really choose what your identities are going to be. And the other half of that saying is you get what you emphasize, you also get what you tolerate. And I have certainly seen teams that have had problems because they tolerated things they shouldn't have. So I'm curious to see if this changes. They all were like, look, we're doing the right thing. We trust our process. We can't be results driven. We have to continue the process. And the other thing that I thought Evan Williams said that was really interesting is that we can't start chasing takeaways. And like, for instance, one of their tenets is the first guy to arrive has to wrap up the ball carrier. The second guy in is the guy that's punching. If the first guy's punching and he's not wrapping up the ball carrier, that's how you have what we saw last Sunday night when they missed a ton of tackles. I mean, their tackling was the worst it's been, not just this season, but the worst it's been in a while. So I'm really eager to see what they do defensively to try and stay within what they want to do, but also finally get some takeaways.
Are they so desperate at wide receiver they need to rush Christian Watson back? I watched enough guys with ACLs and Achilles and major lower limb. Like, it just seems dumb. I don't care if he wants to. Why do they? I don't know if they're set on it or if it's just because he looks so good. Other people are pushing that idea, but it seems to me that that's absurd to even consider that.
Yeah, I don't know if any of it is wanting him to come back in a home game, so it's on their turf, but the guy tore his ACL on their turf, so I don't see that as being some sort of big benefit. I think he's pushing for it for sure, even with the contract, which kind of allayed some of his concerns about having to prove himself. But no, he's such a well-liked and well-respected guy in that locker room, and everyone's excited for him. So I think that was kind of the euphoria of yesterday. But no, they can't. Like, if you look back, and Domofsky did an interesting thing on ESPN.com about his timeline and Stephon Diggs' timeline and how those compare. But what I would also add is Rob had in there when Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins came back from their ACLs to start practicing versus when they played an actual game. And I think you have to be really careful that, okay, great, he's practicing now. Let's let him practice for a few weeks, okay? And then we'll see where he's at, and then we'll let him play in a game. But you have a 21-day window for a reason. Like, he doesn't have to play in day 4 of the window. And, again, this is a guy who they think their offense is vastly different when he's on the field. Why would you risk having him have a setback? And I know it's apples to oranges because this is a catastrophic injury versus an in-season injury. But did we learn nothing it's kind of like I say about AI. Did we learn nothing from the Terminator and iRobot? Like, did we learn nothing from Zach Tom playing one snap in Cleveland and having to come back out? Like, there is no reason to push the timeline on him. You've got plenty of wide receivers. You've got plenty of tight ends. I would certainly hope you can beat the Bengals and the Cardinals and maybe even the Steelers, if it came to that, without playing Christian Watson very much. I think it would be foolish to play him.
Homer, where are we on time?
You have 44 minutes left unless Jason has to go.
So then, because
I think we're tipping off soon, so maybe one more.
All right. Well, you mentioned it. You mentioned it at the end of the listing opponents. Aaron is kind of, he's kind of come out. Aaron Rodgers. He's talked a little about, beating the Jets is great. He's kind of hinted at the game with the Packers, though he says it'll be more of a big deal. Is anybody there at all aware that they're playing that game here in a month on the Packers side?
If they were, I think the Rasheed Walker undefeated statement and LaFleur getting really mad about that, and the commitment to the 1-0 every week cliche. But the other thing, and again, to go back to McKinney, look, he's rapidly become, in the year plus that I've covered him, one of my go-to guys. Like, he's not at the Woodson level yet, but he's going that way. And the fact that he said this, he knew we were on the record. He knew it was not off the record, and I think he did it on purpose. He's like, look, there are a bunch of guys around here that when this team was 2-0, they thought we won the blanking Super Bowl. Like, they were going to hand us the Lombardi Trophy. And I tried to tell them that's not how this blank works. And he was like legitimately pissed about it. And that was after they lost to the Browns. And then I saw him yesterday and talked to him for a little while. And now he's even more angry because now the stuff came home to roost on his side of the football, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's looking at the defense going, what the heck happened? How did this happen? We're way better than this. And so, I always love talking about leadership and the importance of, different types. Sometimes you're a servant leader. Sometimes you have to put your arm around a guy, but other times you got to kick him in the butt. And I think he feels like, there's some guys on this team that ride the roller coaster a little bit too much. And especially when things are high, they're enjoying life too much. And I think he was legitimately pretty irritated about that. And I'm very curious to see what kind of approach he takes from a leadership perspective in the next couple of weeks, because this team, he firmly believes this team should be 4-0, and he's not wrong. But the last thing they can do is start compounding their mistakes in the previous 2 weeks and start letting those beat them some more.
Well, as long as no one shows up in the locker room with a 0-1 every week, I think they'll be okay. But that would be great.
It's like that Homer T-shirt that he made that says team, but he has an I in the middle, so it's TEIAM.
There's an I in that
There's an I in team.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
an I in
All
winning,
right.
too.
Go try to take on the formidable Southwest Trojans, my friend.
I will have a full scoring update for you later today.
Very good.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
You're done? I was just getting warmed up in the cot.
Well, I know. Either that or I was worried. We've gone a remarkably long time, and you're about to chime in. I'm like, okay, I'll head this off at the pass. We'll get us to a break, and then he's going to be stuck.
And now we're going to take a break. 2.5, second quarter. With me, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Oh, you here?
Still have that accident on 43 southbound on the on-ramp from Fond du Lac Avenue, so something to be careful with. Otherwise, delays coming in from Good Hope Road all the way past Silver Spring, and then again from Locust down through the Marquette down to the KK River crossing. The northbound side is a bit backed up from just about Beecher all the way through the Marquette up towards Locust. Westbound 94, a heavy ride from about 35th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Back on the brakes from 84th Street to the county line. More delays heading through the Barker Road area all the way to Highway 164. On the eastbound side, we got delays from about just before Highway 100 through the zoo all the way to 35th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly clear, a low of 47 at the lake, 39 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and cooler, a high of 60. Weather's brought to you by Avondale Roofing, trusted since 1988 to keep you and your roof covered, no matter the weather, rain or shine. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It was quit doing it in 2019.
The Marquette family is hurting. Two men's lacrosse student athletes were tragically taken far too soon in an accident that has shaken the entire community.
In the face of unimaginable loss, this team continues to show strength, love, and resilience,
embodying what it truly means to be part of the Marquette family.
Now they need us.
You can support the team through the Men's Lacrosse Excellence Fund, with every dollar going to help them during this time of unprecedented challenge.
Find the link to help pinned to ESPN Milwaukee's Twitter page.
We are Marquette.
Escape to Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan, Wisconsin, where everything is better at the lake. Dive into endless outdoor activities, including boating, fishing, and paddleboarding on the serene Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind in the award-winning Calidora Spa. Enjoy gourmet meals at 1878 on the lake, casual bites at the Lookout Bar and Eatery, and sweet treats at the Isle of Capri Cafe. Explore Delavan Lake's stunning shores and historic landmarks from the comfort of their 76-foot cruise boat, the Lake Lawn Queen. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com.
Penalty flags? Not here. Carbless is the clean play that every football fan can agree on. With zero sugar, zero carbs, and just 100 calories, you get all the flavor without the penalty. Whether you're tailgating outside the stadium, hosting a crew at home, or watching solo in your lucky jersey, Carbless brings premium cocktails right into the huddle. Made to be refreshingly delicious and game day ready, Carbless keeps fans cheering from kickoff to the final whistle. So this season, skip the sugar, skip the carbs, and make the winning call. Find your bliss with Carbless.
I'm not saying
the
you're
vibrant
wrong.
fall colors and cooler temperatures make for great days out on the golf course. The Island invites you to experience the best of fall golf with late season rounds of Sweetgrass or Sage Run. Fall golf rates run through the end of the 2025 season, with tee times starting at $75 and stay and play packages from $125. And submit your 2026 golf package request early to guaranteed choice dates. Plan your fall golf adventure today at islandresortgolf.com. UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Franklin High School's Josie Johnston. Johnston is a member of the Sabres women's golf team and sealed first team All-Southeast Conference honors with her first tournament victory this past week. Johnston shot an 86 at Rivermore Golf Club, including 3 birdies to take home first place honors for the first time in her career. Johnston also played a pivotal role in Franklin's WIAA Regional Championship, shooting a 93 at Brightondale. The Sabres finished 14 strokes ahead of second place Badger High School to win the regional and will now compete at sectionals with a chance to head to state on the line. Congrats to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Franklin High School's Josie Johnston. With your UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, I'm Will Summers.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
3 Pillars Senior Living Community. Beautiful setting along the Bark River. 300 acres in Dousman. I still can't believe that. That's a city. Top-ranked full continuum community. Active adult and independent living, assisted living and memory care, skilled nursing and rehab, incredible programs. Yeah, you can when you have 300 acres. An amazing staff, and that's always the most important place in senior living. Been there, know the people there. They're so happy. 300 acres. You got to see it for yourself in Dousman. 3pillars.org, 3pillars.org. Talking with 7'2.5" John Anderson. Now that the segment with Jason Wilde, or earlier than normal, is finished. I know you like to talk about Craig Counsell. I can't imagine last night, because I'm at the game and they hit the 3-run homer. In the first game, the first hitter hits a home run, and they're behind by the end of the first inning. Not after 5 innings of the first. They hit a 3-run homer, and the Brewers, nobody on and 2 outs. They hit a 3-run homer. If I'm Counsell or any manager, I go, why don't we just quit? This is not possible. Are they going to get every conceivable break? Is everything going to go their way? Like we've had 20 situations, and they've gotten 20, all 20 of them. At some point, shouldn't this even out? Maybe not. It may be over.
I don't know that's the case, right? I think that's kind of the make your own luck. Okay, good. You got to lead off homer.
It is, but in the same inning, wait a couple innings to tie the game.
Why are they entitled
to anything? But that's so rare.
True.
Okay,
but if you're going to groove one and my guy's going to hit one, good for you. I think if you want things that are lucky, if there's one thing that's been lucky in the series, knock on wood, is that Chourio was there to play the next game. Right, that looked like okay.
Yes, it's the greatest.
We'll see you in
the greatest hamstring
training.
since Reggie White in 1996. The born again hamstring, because we know hamstrings. It was easy to think he was done. Go ahead.
Yeah, that seemed like okay. That could be spring training for him. And then when Murph is like, because the player always says, "I'll be all right tomorrow. I'll figure it out." They can wrap it up and do. And when Murphy was like, "That could be devastating or catastrophic," whatever he said. You're like, okay, well, that's really. And maybe that was it. Maybe his design was so that when he popped out there, Counsell and the guys were like, "Oh crap, here he is." But it is amazing to answer as they did in both cases. One with the 6th spot and one with the matching 3-run homer. But I don't know that means you're exceedingly getting all the breaks. Just means maybe you're a good team.
That too. But again,
to hit the 3
home runs. It's the timing of it. That has been amazing.
Yep. But to your point, like that's one thing. Counsell knows a bunch of these guys on this team. He's a lot of those are, for lack of a better term, those are his kids that are there. So he knows what it is. So he's not going to be shocked, and he'll make sure his guys are ready that's going to keep happening, that they're going to, keep fighting away when it comes, even though when you have a lead, because he helped install that in them. And the culture of the place there. So that for sure is the case. I just think it's amazing that in the first one, they'd given up. The Padres scored 5 runs in the entire series against them.
Mm-hmm.
3 games they got 5, and the Brewers like, here, we'll give you 6, and we'll just do it. And before you did that in 3 games, we got 6 before you got 3 outs. Good luck with that. But like remember in '82, right? What the Angels were up 2-0. So I'm still holding out. I still want to make sure we get the 27th out in another game where we have the lead. So, so people call me I'm a realist or pessimist. That one's not realism. That's not pessimism. That's just like, okay, I've seen it happen before and my team did it. And so I'm going to, until those last outs are made, it wouldn't be that way. It was the Dodgers. It's the Cubs. I don't want to give this thing away to those bozos.
But even you and the distaste you have for Counsell would have to admit, it would be historically perfect to sweep them, because I claim the Brewers sweep, the Cubs will get booed off their own field after the 3rd game.
I don't know about that, but what I would do is I'd make sure I didn't take my celebration into the clubhouse. I'd do it in the dugout and I'd do it out on their field.
Yeah.
That's right. I'd do it out there. I wouldn't fly the W, but I'd have something that looks like one. And I'd plant that in front of my dugout.
Great question. I'm not sure what Murphy will do.
I don't think he'd ever show him up, right? They go too far back.
That would be my guess.
They go back to when they were in
Counsell's the players rule. Like if something started, he's not going to stop it. He's just not going to suggest it.
Yeah, I would think that. But, because they go back to when they were both in Counsell's hometown there in South Bend. And
yes.
So it's been a while, but I would instead of just retreating to the locker room, I'd make sure I go take a picture on the mound and everything else.
Here's my next question: has Murphy become bigger than any player on the team?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
No, I think Contreras. I think Yelich. I think Turang, I think Chourio. No, I think they're a bunch of guys. And I think while he doesn't mind having a little some level of notoriety there, I don't think he's craving it. I think he just knows it comes his way. His personality is some that, he gravitates to. He's got a little wattage to him. But he's not like he used to be, right? He used to be a showman.
Say that again. He has a little wattage to him. Explain that for those that don't have your salt and sugar. There's a little sugar in there, but there's also a little salt.
No, I don't think so. No, I just mean he's not a 100-watt bulb, but he's 60. So that's what I'm saying. He's got some to him. He's not right. Council had no wattage whatsoever, right?
Correct. Totally.
Yeah,
right.
Totally, and that's fine. Just relish.
He's the
boring.
only person I refused to do a regular interview on because I said he was too boring.
Yeah, and that's fine. Good, do your job. That's what I'm saying.
But a very good manager. That wasn't said. Yeah.
No, compared to him, Murph's got a little wattage. That's all. He's got some. He's got a little to him. He's got some brightness. He can when he goes into a room. You'll know he's there. I don't know that every time Council went into a room, you knew he was there, and that was fine with him. Murph doesn't mind that people know he's there. No.
Yeah. Yes. There. One other thing I wanted to add about him in terms of, I think he's just done so many things that have made him attractive, given his nature and that of Milwaukee. He counsels from Milwaukee, but Murphy fits Milwaukee. Like if you had to guess which one of them. Right? Where would you guess? Murphy's from West Allis. Now, Cudahy's from Brookfield. Or not Cudahy. A Council's from Brookfield. But someone else can use that as a pretty good question.
Like Murphy would. I could see him out running, jogging with the Crusher with a beer keg on his shoulder back in the day.
Right. He'd be. Now, I think he'd be more of a wrestler than a manager, but he'd be a pretty good manager. I think he's a wrestler, right? He's not a manager. He's not really Bobby Heenan.
No, he's more the Crusher. He's the Crusher.
I don't know this is true, and I want you to answer it afterwards, but I like him the same way I liked Mike Dean as coach at Marquette, and that is that Murphy is fearless. I think great managers are fearless given the situation. They don't care if everybody says it's a stupid idea. They believe in it. They're going to do it. And so they can do things that other people go, well, what is he thinking? And I'm not only thinking, I'm right and watch it. There's no fear. And I don't know. It may be that Murphy's the same in the playoffs than in the regular season. Regular season, it's all numbers because it happens so many times. In the playoffs, I think it's required that you do things that the numbers might not fit because it's a particular situation. So that's the view I have of him in terms of, like, why is he going to do this? You can't do this. What do you mean I can't do it? I not only can't do it, I will do it, and here's why, and it'll work. But I'll let you address them as playoff managers. We got to take a break here first.
I'll just say this: as long as the players buy it, you can keep selling it.
And if you keep winning, the players are good enough that you're winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. But do you think that's a fair comment about Murphy as a manager, that he not reckless but fearless?
Yeah, I think he trusts his instincts and his guts, and that he knows baseball and what works. Right. Yeah. I think he got some comeuppance with his time in San Diego when he got handed that team. Yeah. Which we can go into more on the other side here.
We will.
But I don't think that at any point ever made him doubt how much he knows baseball.
Like I would, excellent. Yes. I know the game. Mm-hmm. Just go away. I can take care of this. Go away. Next.
Go to Chicago.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
That accident on 43 southbound on the on-ramp from Fond du Lac Avenue. So something to be careful with. Otherwise, delays coming in from Good Hope Road all the way past Silver Spring. And then again from Locust down through the Marquette down to the KK River crossing. The northbound side is a bit backed up from just about Beecher all the way through the Marquette up towards Locust. Westbound 94, a heavy ride from about 35th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Back on the brakes from 84th Street to the county line. More delays heading heading through the Barker Road area all the way to Highway 164. On the eastbound side, we got delays from about just before Highway 100 through the zoo all the way to 35th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, mostly clear, a low of 47 at the lake, 39 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and cooler, a high of 60. Weather's brought to you by Avondale Roofing, trusted since 1988 to keep you and your roof covered, no matter the weather, rain or shine. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
I'd like you to listen to a little question and answer session with James Imaging Systems client Preston Clark. He oversees IT services at Creative Business Interiors. Preston, why James?
I do feel like that we are partnered, again, as opposed to being sold to.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
If I need service, they're here almost within 4 hours every time. I've never had an issue where I'm like, where is that guy?
That works for you and the business, right, Preston?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about it.
Plus, there's IT-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation from James Imaging Systems.
I've got information that I can then go to my superiors with and say, hey, here's how we can save a little bit of money.
And
then I kind of look like the hero, too.
Want to be the hero in your office? Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
I've been to my fair share of green and gold games, and the best way to get there is with Accutrans Group. At Good Karma Brands and ESPN Milwaukee, we use Accutrans Group to get our partners to and from Green Bay, and it's always first class. From stadiums to concerts and tailgates, your game day fun starts the moment you step on board. Sit back, relax, and let their professional chauffeurs handle the traffic while you enjoy the ride. Accutrans Group is Milwaukee's premier ground transportation, available 24/7 with sedans, SUVs, limos, vans, and buses. Book today at AccuTransGroup.com.
Looking to heat up a career in HVAC?
Dick & Trough Heating and Cooling in Milwaukee is now hiring HVAC installers and service technicians. Family owned and operated, Dick & Trough offers competitive wages, a 401k match, health insurance benefits, and a winning, positive team culture that sets them apart. This is more than a job. It's a chance to grow with a company that truly values its people. Apply now to become their newest team member at dickandtrough.com. Dick & Trough Heating and Cooling. Come see the difference. Apply at dickandtrough.com.
Homer for Window Nation. It's October, and if you've got old windows, that means you're back to dealing with chilly air seeping into your home. Eliminate annoying drafts once and for all with Window Nation in Milwaukee. This month, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, plus pay nothing for 2 years. With the holidays coming up, it's a big deal, and they can do it so quickly. Don't miss out on free windows and 0 payments for 2 years with Window Nation, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Visit windownation.com before October 31st to get started. Homer here with a message about 3 Pillar Senior Living Communities located on a serene setting along the Bark River on 300 gorgeous acres. 3 Pillar Senior Living Communities is a top-ranked full continuum community. Active adult, independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, and rehab. 3 Pillars, the hands-down choice for you or your loved one. Been there. Know people who live there. They love it. You gotta go to Dousman and see it in person. Get all the info on 3 Pillars at 3pillars.org.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Window Nation. 90% customer satisfaction. So it's important. I tell you they're good. It's more important that customers tell you they're good. And they can install in 1 day depending on the size of the job. I want it done now. Yeah, you tell them that. You tell them Homer said you can do it now faster than anybody else is now. October is here, so if you've got old windows, it's time to make a change this month. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, plus pay nothing for 2 years. Free windows, 0 payments for 2 years with Window Nation. Visit windownation.com before October 31st to get started. You're not doing it right if you don't go with Window Nation and if you don't tell them, Homer said you could do it now, like immediately now. Yeah, say that. 7-2.5, John Anderson. Tim Van Voorn making a special appearance because there is a special Homer Hour tomorrow. It's 2 hours, right, Pebble? 2 to 4?
2 to 4, yep.
John Anderson, you're invited to come.
What do you have there? Why are we moving up?
The Brewer game is at 4 o'clock, so they're going to have, I'm on 2 hours before. I think I'll have on 7:55. You know who 7:55 is now, right? Yeah,
I do now.
I'm pushing that harder than 7.5. You're probably happy that I've moved on from 7.5. 7.55 is even more impressive. Oh yeah. The world needs to know about the man who won the game when Hank Aaron hit his final home run. And might I mention 7.5? I wish I had been Jerry Augustine because they did it July 20th. Every time he went to the plate, I would have turned to the guy next to me and said, "Don't hit a home run, please. Don't hit a home run. Don't." The guy who wins the game that Hank Aaron hits his second to last home run doesn't mean diddly. Sugar Free, you're on with 7.5, John Anderson.
This is working out perfect for the Brewers. They're going to sweep the Cubs, and then it's setting up for the Dodgers, the world champion Dodgers, who we already swept, to come into American Family, sweep them there, and then go back to the Dodgers to L.A. and take 2 there, and then sweep them, get 10 games against them, and roll into the World Series. No one will question this team in the history of baseball.
You picked the wrong guy to tell that to John Anderson. Yes, and you'll join that club, right? They're just going to win every game, and the Dodgers will be the same now as they were in the middle of the season. Take it away,
Professor. Going to be that ambitious. That'll be great. And then after that's done, Homer can get Craig Counsell his World Series ring, which is still the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this, Homer.
Yes. Hold on. Yes, you can think about it. Then we're going to take a break. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to know that with Holmgren and with McCarthy, should we have given Dan Devine his championship ring for bringing Bob Harlan into the organization?
No, understand
he brought Bob
this.
Harlan into the organization.
Hold
He's
on.
the single most important person in the organization in the last 50 years is Bob Harlan.
Who brought Bob Harlan in? Who brought Bob Harlan in? No,
Dan
he
Devine.
didn't.
Yes, he did.
He
was a Dan Devine hire. He was working for the Cardinals, and Dan knew him from his time at Missouri, and Dan Devine brought in Bob Harlan into the organization.
I'll have to think on that.
So Dan Devine should have 2 Super Bowl rings.
Dan Devine should have.
Go with the Hadel trade.
What? Why? How does the Hadel trade? Why are we at 2?
Weren't those both won with Harlan at the head of the organization? He hired Holmgren?
Again, no, but he was not president. I don't believe he hired Harlan. If he had been president, like if you're the guy you should mention.
You are backtrack. Don't trip. Don't trip with this backtrack.
No, you're the backtracker. You're coming up with other situations. Who was the guy who was the president before Harlan? I don't know that he hired Harlan. Who was? He was the first president. He hired Tom Bratz. Judge Perrins, yes. Now, Judge Perrins, it's possible, yes. But you'd have to leave to go to the Bears. And then yes, if Judge Perrins had left to become president of the Bears and Harlan moves in and he brought Harlan in, yes, I would say give Judge Perrins a ring. Yes. But you got to find a situation
but
similar.
Harlan didn't. Dan Devine brought him in.
No, I don't.
Then he went to
I know,
South
so
Bend.
then it's not the same. Dan Devine, he wasn't president. But anyway, would I consider it?
He wasn't. He was president. He literally hired him. He was
He hired him for another position. However, to make you feel better, yes, I would consider it. I will consider that in all situations. Yes.
You are just handing them out.
Why would you be against giving Dan Devine a ring? I mean, if it was Mike Ditka, I could see you'd be upset. But Dan Devine, he's a Packer guy. So you won't give it to him because he did the John Hadel?
He did go. He won a division in 72, but other than that, he was a disaster for the Packers.
Right.
He's at the franchise back 7 years.
Not to be confused with Bart Starr. How far back did Bart Starr do it? Huh? Come on. Let's go 7-2F.
What do you mean? How far back did Bart Starr do what?
To the organization, Dan Devine or Bart Starr?
Dan Devine. Not even close.
Not even close as coaches?
Not even close.
Really? We'll have to think about that.
I guess.
All right, hold on. We got to get Tim Van Voorn. We'll have other time to address this. Excellent topics. Tim Van Voorn, and I'll be back on the cot for sure. I'm not even. I know that's a given. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
He had 3 games that weren't that close. Cincinnati stinks.
Jake Browning-Nagel has thrown 8 interceptions. On the bright side, he hasn't lost a fumble, so he's got that going for him.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The Packers are 14.5-point favorites to open.
I don't think that's enough.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Why Z-Bart? Because you don't want rust holes in your expensive vehicle. Let Z-Bart keep the rust away with professional rust protection. Only at Z-Bart.
Just a couple days away from the Packers returning to action off their bye week, Sunday afternoon at Lambeau Field against the Cincinnati Bengals. And with Bengals star quarterback Joe Burrow on injured reserve, Cincinnati looking to spice things up ahead of their matchup in Green Bay. Tuesday, the Bengals and Browns agreed to a trade that sends veteran quarterback Joe Flacco to Cincinnati, the quarterback who successfully beat Green Bay just a few weeks ago. While it's uncertain if Flacco will start Sunday at Lambeau Field, Burrow's replacement Jake Browning has thrown 8 interceptions in just 4 games. Yikes. Packers still 14.5-point favorites. I'm Alex Stroh.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Why Z-Bart? Because you have a manly truck that you do manly things with, and you don't want the truck bed getting all beat up. You want Rhino Liner by Z-Bart to keep your truck bed man-proof. So man up and ask for Rhino Liner by Z-Bart.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
The teams are ready to go. The question is, are you ready? HD TVs in every room. Check. Blue and gold flag out front. Check. Grill ready to fire up. Check. Chips, dips, check, and check. Now the real planning begins. A trip to Discount Liquor to complete your Milwaukee baseball party or tailgate. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Is beer on the menu? We'll set you up with your favorite or recommend something new. We have over 2,000 to choose from. What about liquor? Our variety is unmatched, as is our selection of wine. So if you want it, we've got it. Discount Liquor is your Milwaukee baseball playoff party headquarters. Discount Liquor has everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2.
Discount Liquor.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on gallon selected varieties Prairie Farms white milk, $3.99. 18 to 24.6 ounce selected varieties Vandy Camp's fish, $4.49. 9.5 to 10.75 ounce selected varieties Hostess mini donuts, $1.99. 16 to 24 ounce selected varieties Ragu pasta sauce, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh, no. Never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh. Oh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
Enter by November 12th.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. Tim Van Voren is brought to you by The Ticket King, your local and most trusted source for Green Bay football tickets. Visit theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007.
Yeah, brought to you by Ticket King. John Anderson, 7-2.5 has got to be brought to you by somebody sometime soon. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. I tell you about them, it's so good. The family business owned since 1931. The family's still doing it. It's not what they do, it's who they are. So the people, it's still the Fiscos. Fixing your car, it's still the Fiscos. That's how they can be that good. Imagine how long they've been doing it. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Expert workmanship guarantee for the life of your vehicle. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. So you remember the name. The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question for John Anderson. Which opposing manager has bothered you the most as a Brewers fan? Tony La Russa or Craig Counsell? Now that's a great question. The Devil or Craig Counsell? I don't know that Craig Counsell has a nickname. Did you call La Russa the Devil? That's what I called him. The Devil.
How come?
I don't know. It's just so incredibly obnoxious and talented, but, you know, he is, I believe, I haven't checked this, the only Major League manager to ever call Dial-A-Prayer and ask for messages. You can check on that.
I just think he's always like, I want to know how he became the self-appointed guardian of the game. And you hear him and you'd think the ball was square before he showed up. And then he was like, what if we make this thing round? The game will be so much better.
Yeah, and now we have Tim Van Voorn ready because I wanted to get him on. He's supposed to be on, and he can't because of the show. Tim Van Voorn, Fox 6 Sports. What do you know about John Anderson? Did you know he high jumped 7.2.5?
Thanks to you, Homer. You're his best agent for that, but that's awfully impressive athletic accomplishment. Yes, thanks to you.
Do you have any question you've always wanted to ask John Anderson all the years you've watched him on ESPN?
John, have you ever gotten rattled? Your composure, your composure was always a calling card as far as I saw it. All the highlights would be coming in, live shots, handling things left and right, staying the course, always in control. Do you remember ever not being in control?
Probably when I was in some younger situations, you know. I can remember we had a guy that drove it, the guy that did the satellite truck when I was in Oklahoma, and you'd have to give him a roll cue. I know this is inside the Beltway, but Tim and Homer, you'll get this. Right? Yeah, and usually you give a guy a roll cue, like here's the last 3 words, and they'll roll the tape. And this guy needed like a sentence and a half, and if you missed any one of them, he wouldn't roll the tape. So you always worried when you had Chuck back there, and you're like, Chuck, and then Chuck, if you hear me say, let's go to the tape, that will be the second backup roll cue. We could always use that. We'll try to be less obvious, but we have to. And you'd miss, you'd get going and nothing's ever verbatim. You're trying not to do that, memorize it. And then he wouldn't roll it. And you'd be like, or we could go to the tape. And now you're sweating and you can still see when it was an OU game where he did that to me. And he never took the tape, and I kind of plow through it. It was just miserable. And I get on, Chuck, what was the deal? And I said, like, at any point, like when I was turning green and sweating and looked like I was going to pass out, he goes, yeah, I thought about starting it there. Like, I'm like, dude, just next time, I don't care. How about just when I open my mouth and say hello, just roll the tape. We'll be safe. Let's do that. So every once in a while, but I think I probably had enough of those that I was prepared for future things that came along. And maybe that's why when the Brewers are up 2-0, I'm still always prepared for Chuck not to roll the tape in the truck.
So Brewers are gonna win the series in how many games? 7.2.5.
I think they'll win it in 4. I think the Cubs will come out and they'll do a little something, and that's fine. And they'll have to work so hard at it they'll have nothing left to spend in the last game or 2.
TVV, how many?
I'm gonna go 3. To be honest with you, they have looked so good. I say they ride it through one more here.
And the Packers against the Cincinnati. Someone earlier this week said a loss would be catastrophic. Is that appropriate or too much? TVV?
You can beat Jaden. You can beat Jared Goff. You can beat Jaden Daniels. You didn't lose to Dak Prescott either. But the impossible matchup, of course, is Joe Flacco. Could he get him twice in 3 games? The Packers certainly should win this game, and certainly should be able to build a few wins here, no matter how spotty they've been.
Can you say it, TVV? A loss would be catastrophic.
Yes, I'll go there, sure.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Are there catastrophic losses in November if you're still 2-2-1? No, come on.
Come on, you two both. Hey, inside the Beltline.
I agree with you.
We have to say, the fact that we have to say 1 now that there's a tie every week now. So their record is blank, and 1. That stinks.
Terrible.
Now, what word would you use, John Anderson? You don't like catastrophic.
No, it would be stupid. Is what it would be. And then they've got, because you've still got 12 games to get things right. So it's not ruinous in any way, but it sure would be dumb if they did that.
I mean, Flacco couldn't win 2 games in a senior.
Joe Flacco's making nanny money. Kenny Mayne and I got into a car in Baltimore one time, and an Uber guy, and they said, "What are you doing? We're here to cover the game." And the guy just yelled at Kenny, "Joe Flacco's making nanny money," after he signed his big contract. So that's all I can think of every time I see Joe Flacco.
Of what has occurred in the Brewers series against the Cubs so far, what is at the top of your list? For me, it's Vaughn's home run, because he is Hurricane Hazel if you go back to 1957, and there's no way to describe. This is like a man swimming in 5 hours the Atlantic Ocean. This is incredible. And then he was pitting like Babe Ruth. Then he went back down to normal, and then he does this. All right, TVV, what's that's to me the biggest.
Vaughn saved all the pitching question marks last night. No question. He bailed that whole situation out with a 3-run homer. So that's a monster one for me. I'm going to go with the fact that the Brewers play Brewer baseball. The other day, the game 1 win, one of the biggest plays was Sal Frelick forcing an error by Nico Horner, who's a good fielder. The Brewers they push. It's that whole woodpecker thing. I know they hit the homers last night, but they push you, and they're still doing what they do best.
2.5.
Vaughn to me is 2 things. One, he's Mickey Mantle since he showed up. Yep. And 2 is he is going to ruin every statistician's thing about WAR, because it's wins over replacement player. Well, what if the replacement player comes in and dwarfs what happened to the guy before him, right? Like he's made the statistic WAR meaningless because he's been so much better than the players that he replaced.
I'm not sure I know of WAR. WAR just means your value, right? Above replacement, right? And so, above replacement is basically average, though, right? Or does it matter who's on your team?
So when your WAR is 8, like Yelich one year, or 7-7 as MVP, they're like, they won 7.5 more games because of this guy.
All right? And the score. The score. We can't agree on 38-14. Packers over Cincinnati. What do you say? 7-2.5.
No shot. I'll be happy to get out of there 27-20.
And TVV.
24-10.
TV, what was the highest you ever high jumped?
Maybe half of John's total.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on special.
Maybe.
Tomorrow, 2 to 4, Magoo's on Blue Mound. Next, golf.
Southbound on 43.